In regards to how I would communicate with parents or caregivers, I'd make sure that right at the beginning of the year, I send out that beginning of the year letter and survey because I want to be able to get as much information about the families and students right off the bat. Especially because this is like really important to me because even just today, I was talking to my mentor teacher and they had conferences right around Thanksgiving break, and she found out that one of her students was living with her grandparents and that neither of her parents were in the picture, and that another student was adopted but she didn't know it. And these were things that she was upset she didn't know right in the beginning of the year because she felt she could have been doing more to tailor instruction or give them support, but not knowing made her feel like maybe she wasn't doing enough or she could have done more. So I definitely want to start off right off the bat with that in the beginning of the year to gather information, start that relationship. And about maybe a week, 2 weeks or so, I'd like to do into the year, I would like to do like a follow-up phone call. And since that would be our first really like one-on-one communication together. But throughout the year, I would try and like decently regularly email or send a note home, whatever works best for the family. And in those emails, I would keep it to only like good news, observations, or like basic concerns. I wouldn't try and do anything serious or that could be misconstrued through writing. If an issue came up and it needed to be communicated, I would try and set up a time for a phone call or an in-person meeting because writing is so hard because sometimes you don't know how the person's coming across, and I just want to make sure we have very clear, effective communication. But I would mostly try and emphasize to parents and caregivers that I'm on their side and I'm welcome. I'm always here to listen, so they can call me or they can email me or whatever the best form of communication is for them. I think that it's really important to communicate with families like this because it's how you really create that classroom community. You grow it to be more than just that room or just school. It's also the people that surround the students. So it's their families, it's their community members. You want to bring them all in. But especially parents because it's their kid that you're teaching. So they have some valid concerns. And they also probably know the kid more than you do. So you want to gain them as an ally because they also have really great perspective that could help you or that you can help them because you do spend 8 hours with the kid. So it's good for that communication to really help the kid, your like students thrive and like be in the best environment, the most supportive environment. And parents could definitely be your best ally, and without communication, they can be your worst enemy. And once again, we're just connecting the school and home. This approach connects to my overall philosophy because, once again, it's all about creating that classroom community that involves all parts of the child's life and creating like that support system and giving everybody in the community a voice. So not just the child, but also the parent. But also as a teacher, you have a voice. So communication is key there. And it's empowering everybody because their voice matters, their opinion matters. You're not just leaving one person out or one part of the community out. They all have the information and they all feel like they can seek it from each other. It's all to create this best environment. One theorist's ideas that I definitely think connect to communication and my ideas of communication is Gounod's congruent communication theory, because he talks a lot about avoiding confrontation and using your language very like carefully to set the tone for learning. And I think that applies not only to the classroom with the students but also with parents, because when you're talking with families, your body language and your tone, all of that plays a factor in how they're going to feel about your communication. So I definitely think that like his ideas on iMessages are also really smart to use whenever talking with parents, because just like how you don't want to associate like bad behaviors with students also like personality and let it define them, I think that's something you want to bring into conversations with community members, families too, whenever you're talking to them. Furthermore, the congruent theory also talks about how teachers should demonstrate harmonious communications with students, and it's also what they should do with parents. And through all of my ideas, I think that I really connect with this because it's all about creating and inviting, encouraging cooperation in and out of the classroom, and that's the core of congruent communication.